It's great to have the recently graduated AJ Rompza of the UCF Knights here in the BHSN studios. We've got a lot to talk about. AJ, you're hosting your first basketball camp. Now that you're done with your collegiate career, it's the next step. You're hosting a youth basketball camp. You're still thinking about playing professionally. First, tell us what you expect this camp to be like.
I want it to be, obviously it's my first time, so it's definitely going to be, challenging to try and get people there and trying to get the word out. But like I tell everybody is, you can talk about it and say, oh, I want to do this, but until it gets done is actually when you feel great about yourself. And I think that just the people in the community and people I reached out to that were willing to help me kind of get it started, I think it's going to be great.
Everybody's invited?
Everyone's invited, yes. You could go to my website at www.rompza.com and it'll tell you about it. But aside from the camp, as much as I love basketball, as much as I want to see kids succeed and do what they love, the biggest thing for me was doing it for a little girl who has a tumor. She reached out to me and I reached back out to the family. I said, I want to have a camp. I'm thinking about doing a basketball camp. And they said, oh, well, that's awesome. What could we do? And I just talked about, maybe donating proceeds to that family, because obviously the travel, the medicine for her was a big thing. And obviously I don't have tons of money that I can donate like that, but I think that, people respect it more.
What's the little girl's name?
Caitlin.
July 20th through the 22nd, AJ Rompza hosting his first youth basketball camp. AJ, we've got a book on the table. You've been the author of one. You're working on a second.
Yes.
What will the name of your next book be, and when's the target release?
Well, right now it's still up in the air for the book, obviously for the date and whatnot. But I've actually been working with an agency in New York called the Seymour Agency, and it's pretty much just kind of changed the whole way that I write, the whole way that I view things.
You've been up to 5:30 in the morning?
Pretty much every night, obviously, because I want to get it done. It's something that I think that will really help me down the line if I want to do motivational speaking, or it gives you more credibility, obviously, and it's just something that I really want to do. And I think that by doing the whole book over, it's obviously a process and it's obviously going to take time, but I mean I love doing it. Writing has seemed like when I do write, I love it. I like what you say. What you've been through your life is a touching story, and I want people to see it, that it doesn't matter what you go through, what comes your way, whatever bumps and stuff you have in the road, you can overcome it. And I think that's pretty much my life story, is through everything, through all the doubt, through all the hate that people had towards me, wanting to play basketball. I followed my heart and I just did what I loved.
You're 5'9", and you've always had people tell you you couldn't do this, couldn't do that, and now you've already finished a 4-year career at UCF, second all-time in steals, top 5 in assists. Now you might even play professionally, when people said you couldn't even play in college.
Well, definitely. It's just like anything. People in high school, I wanted to go to a certain high school, and they said that, there's no way you could play. You might be able to make the freshman B team if you're lucky. And it was something that, as a young kid, when you're 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, and, your dad wants you to play another sport because he doesn't think you're tall enough, or your friends, they do it for fun, but it's something that I wanted to make a career out of. And I think that most kids, nowadays it's different because people are telling them that they can't do something. And I want to be there to tell them that, if you put your mind to it, anything's possible.
You say basketball has brought you all over the world. Germany might be a possibility.
Definitely.
We heard China earlier this summer, but now maybe Germany?
I guess anywhere where basketball is, I want to go. And like I said, you have to be willing to take chances. People are like, are you crazy? You're going to go to China and play? But, when you love something as much as I do, and you have a desire to continue to play, you'll do whatever it takes. And you have to be willing to take chances. In high school, I went to a high school where no one knew me, and it worked out for the best of me. In college, I went to, obviously UCF, where I probably knew 1 or 2 people, if that.
And folks from Chicago really had no idea what UCF was.
Exactly. When I told them, they're like, UCF, isn't that a fighting program? And I'm like, no. University of Central Florida. And it seemed as if, now it's like, oh, UCF, oh, you go to UCF, awesome. I heard so many great things about it, and just people in Chicago and everywhere, because, that name developed and people learned a lot about it.
So you're going to work on a German passport, perhaps?
Yes, definitely. I think that is, the biggest thing right now. And it's funny, before I got here, I was actually on the phone with the German embassy in Florida, or in Miami, I'm sorry. And, it's difficult to hear what they're saying. I was like, wait, what? I tried to put on speaker to understand him more, but I definitely think it's a process, and that's another thing that I'm learning right now is that as much as I want stuff to happen overnight, it's like reality. I understand that stuff, it's a process. Everything's a process. With my book, I'm like, okay, I want to get published. I'm done. And she's like, you got to wait. We have to talk to this and that. And, you just learn so much after college, and you have to learn how to be patient and learn that stuff is a process, but it will work out for you.
You're one of the most aggressive players with the ball and without the ball. Kind of a magician with the basketball. Harlem Globetrotters.
Definitely.
Does that fit A.J. Rompza?
Actually, the people I've told, they're like, oh my God, that's you. That's huge. I think that's something that you would really, you'd look good in a Harlem Globetrotters outfit. And
is that a reality? Is that a possibility?
I mean, it definitely is. I've talked to the guy who pretty much runs the whole Harlem Globetrotters thing, and the money. Obviously, people probably don't think it's well, but for a weekly salary, it's pretty good. And I think the biggest thing for me with that would be, traveling the world, but also at the same time having a book out, and that's the ultimate publicity for that.
How about that? You picture that jersey with the red, white, and blue Harlem Globetrotters? AJ, we talk about what's next for you. We'd be remiss not to ask you about your teammate and closest friend, Marcus Jordan. We've heard his name really in the tabloids. Gossip website TerraZones.com says Jordan might not return to UCF for his senior year. What do you think happens with your good friend Marcus Jordan next?
At this point, I really don't know. Like I've told everybody else, that the only thing I pretty much talked to him about that was, to tell him to follow his heart. That's all you can really do in life, and whether it's a job, whether it's basketball, whatever you do, if you follow your heart, it seems to work out for you. So I think he knows what he'll do. It'll be a tough decision, but whatever he makes, he knows that I'm behind him 100%, and I'm there for him with whatever he needs.
Yeah, because just like you, all sorts of possibilities right now. Marcus has as well. You and Marcus actually co-founded AirJordan.com.
Yes, definitely. It's something that, it's obviously like anything, it's a process, but it was something that me, him, and Jeff did, obviously with the shoes and with the daily lifestyle that, people would engage with, that we thought would be kind of different. And, obviously it will be a process, but we think that what we have going with that, people will love it.
AJ, let's get back to the basketball court a little bit. You've had so many highs and some lows during your career at UCF. One of the most beloved figures for the home crowd, one of the most hated figures for the opposing crowds. How about that game winner against Southern Miss in 2011? Was that the ultimate?
That was probably one of the ultimate, games. Obviously, game-winning shot, but people don't realize what led up to that shot. Everyone thinks that during your college, you're an athlete, everything's great, everything's amazing. But that was obviously one of the toughest times in my life during that period, was because when I was going through injury, I was thinking about transferring. I wasn't happy. And
you thought about transferring?
Yeah, at a certain time I did. I wasn't happy. And, like I said, you have to find something that really motivates you. And, I talked to my mom. My mom's my best friend. Everyone knows that now. But I talked to her late nights, and I just said, I wasn't happy. Something wasn't right. Something didn't feel right. I didn't feel comfortable. And, she said, stick it out. And she said, do whatever you can. But at the end of the day, you got to give it everything you have. And, if you look in pictures, there was tears coming down from my eyes after that game-winning shot when I stood on the scoreboard, because people didn't realize what I had went through. Now, I was going through injury. I wasn't playing as much as I wanted because of that. And it was just a lot of stuff that led up to that people didn't understand and people don't know.
So how did it all come back together if you were so unhappy at the time, and how does it lead to that magical moment?
Because I never gave up. I think that I could have easily just went the other route. People think the grass is greener on the other side a lot of the time, and they say, oh, well, I tried it, so I'm going to leave now. But it's something that I put my heart into. I put 4 years of dedication every single day, making sacrifices with whatever it was to be successful, to make my teammates happy. And I knew that God had a plan for me. And I knew that if I didn't give up, that everything would have worked out for me. And I mean, there's no better way to kind of come back from all that to hit a game-winning shot. So I definitely think that was probably one of my best moments individually for me, just because of everything I went through, not because of the shot. I mean, anybody could hit a shot, but I think that you know, it's like my life story. You know, I keep getting pushed down. I keep getting told that I can't do something.
It happened again in your senior year.
Exactly.
You faced the suspension,
Exactly.
allegations of improper benefits.
Exactly.
How'd you deal with that?
As much as I say the last time was pretty tough, this was beyond, you know, beyond my belief. It was something that, you know, like I talk about in my second book, was unimaginable. You know, I worked 17 years to get to this point in my life. My senior year, you know, what everybody lives for, and
Cut short in half.
cut short in half, exactly. And I think that's just, you know, people, I get goosebumps talking about it, but for people that don't understand that, you know, oh, well, you still had half your season, but half your season of your senior year is like missing the whole season. You know, being out there, and it's just like, it seemed as if everything I've worked for up until this point was for this year. Obviously, your senior year is the biggest thing for scouts, you know, overseas, NBA, whatnot, but each day I found myself challenging myself. Whether it was I was fighting with my teammates, I was fighting with coach. It was just something that I was frustrated. You know, I felt that I had let all this stuff build up inside of me, and I kind of, you know, I didn't know how to handle it. And you know, once I threw away that whole it's about me, and you know, I got treated, or I got mistreated, and this isn't fair. That's when everything became right for me. That's when, you know, my days were better. You know, my teammates, I got along with them. Pretty much just everything. It's the whole way you think about stuff. You know, I looked as oh, I'm the victim. You know, this isn't right, and that's when things continued to go wrong for me. But you know, when I fixed it and I said, you know, I want to have a positive mentality. I want to think everything positive. It was like my whole life changed, where it was like, okay, now I'm only a month away. Okay, now I'm only a couple weeks away, and I earned my teammates' respect because of how hard I fought every single day, because I didn't want to lose their respect. That was the biggest thing for me, being a leader. If I don't score a point for the whole year, I don't care.
Was there any appeal process there, or were you just forced to take that suspension?
There was an appeal process. You know, obviously I had to get a lawyer. It didn't work out the way that I wanted, obviously, and I kind of just let it go. You know, I said, it's out of my reach. There's not too much I can do. I did what I had to do, and I moved on from it. And it's obviously it's pretty much made me a better person.
Ladies and gentlemen, you got to keep your eyes on this guy, AJ Rompza. You can find out what's next with AJ. Keep your eyes out for his next book coming out soon. Rompza.com is his website, and July 20th through the 22nd is his first basketball camp. AJ, we wish you a ton of success and look forward to what the future brings for you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
For AJ Rompza, I'm David Baumann, Bright House Sports Network.